Hello, everyone, and welcome into Yelling from the Couch. I'm Brent Humphreys, and on this episode of Yelling from the Couch, it is a Week 12 preview pick'em. Myself and Gage makes our picks for this week coming up. We got 3 Thanksgiving Day games, got a Black Friday game, and a good slate on Sunday coming up. Well, decent slate on Sunday, I guess. Last week, with the picks, I went 9-4 on Week 11. Gage went 8-5, bringing our totals for the year 93-60 and 84-69. Both of us staying well above 500, and that's what you want to do in these pick'ems. At least stay above 500. You don't want to have a losing record. You lose money if you bet with these picks. Stick around on the other side of the break here. Myself and Gage with the pick'ems. Hello, everyone, and welcome into Yelling from the Couch. I'm Brent Humphreys, joined by my co-host Gage Berdovich. And this week is the NFL Week 12 Pick'em. Got some Thanksgiving games, got a Black Friday game, and then got a Sunday slate. Gage, how you doing, man?
Doing good, looking forward to Thanksgiving and all the football games to come with it. Didn't really have a good outcome for my team, the Steelers, this past week. And we were talking a little bit beforehand. I think we already know that our game this week is just going to be so bad because both of these offenses now, with Kenny Pickett in his second year and not knowing how to play apparently, and then Jake Browning coming from I don't even know where. This is going to be horrible.
Yeah, unfortunately, like we were talking, we had recorded the podcast last week, and right after we got done, like literally right after we got done, the news came out that Joe Burrow is out for the season with the torn ligament in his wrist. Disappointing for me, certainly, and like you said, disappointing for this Sunday's game coming up with these two offenses. It's going to be hard to find points.
Yeah, and it was like, after we got done recording, it was like 10 minutes, and then I messaged you and was like, you got to be kidding me. There's no way this just broke. Like, I mean, I wasn't even done completely like tearing down from recording the episode. Just look at my phone and see the Bleacher Report alert, and it's like, wow, okay, well, we were all optimistic about Burrow returning. I know I said like, oh, he could be out a couple weeks. I didn't mean the entire year, but I mean, I guess that stuff happens, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was hoping for a sprained wrist, like you said. If anything, just take an extra week off or so. But I was not expecting out for the remainder of the season. When I saw that, I was kind of in shock for a little bit,
Yeah,
and kind of down about it too. But
yeah. I
it's
mean,
football.
that surprised my fantasy team at the same time, but also, I mean, kind of makes me happy for playing the Bengals too.
Yeah, things got a little bit easier there for Pittsburgh this Sunday, and we'll get into that one here in a minute. Uh, the first game on the slate this week, we got Thanksgiving football. The Green Bay Packers will travel to Detroit to face the Detroit Lions. Detroit is a 7.5-point favorite. Gage, what do you think about this one?
So the Lions are coming off a game where they were so close to losing. Jared Goff threw 3 picks against the Bears, and this offense, I mean, yeah, both running backs, Gibbs and Montgomery scoring a touchdown. Jamison Williams once again finally getting involved on this offense. But for whatever reason, the defense, and I know we mentioned it last week, but the defense had their troubles. Don't really know why, but they did. And on the other side of the ball, Jordan Love, second game in a row. I mean, 1-1 in the past 2 games, but the second game in a row where he's really, shown improvement, especially from the beginning of the year till now. Uh, 7.5 points. I'm surprised it's that big. I would have expected like 3 or 4, especially with this being a divisional matchup. I am going to take who I think is a better team. I'm going to take Detroit, but I'm not going to take the spread. I think it will probably be like a 4 or 5 point game.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you on this. Detroit last week, like you said, took them the whole game to get ahead and struggled against a Chicago Bears team. And they got that safety at the end there, and Aiden Hutchinson putting the ball into the stands, and giving them an extra couple of points at the end. But the defense has not been good the last couple of weeks. I don't know what's going on there with Detroit, but they've got to get that. If they want to, people are picking them for the Super Bowl. If they're wanting any chance of getting to the Super Bowl, that defense has got to play a little bit. And on the other side of the ball, the Green Bay Packers looked pretty good the other day, beating the Chargers. Like you said, Jordan Love is starting to get things going a little bit. I think he's found him another receiver there that he likes in Wicks. He had almost 100 yards the other day, and Love threw for 322, 2 touchdowns, getting better week by week. But I'm going to go with the Lions in this one too. I just think that they're at home. It's Thanksgiving. I think that they'll come out and they'll beat the Packers, but I also don't have them covering the spread as well. The second matchup for the Thanksgiving slate, the Washington Commanders, coming off a very impressive performance. Not traveling to Dallas to face the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas is a 10.5-point favorite. Gage, what do you think about this matchup?
I think the entire NFL world was surprised last week when the Giants looked like a football team and was able to come out and squash the Commanders. I don't know where that came from. I don't know why the Commanders couldn't win. I mean, I think the spread last week was like 10.5 or 11 points, and we were like, oh, wow, that seems too low. It should be a lot higher. And wow, did the Giants come out and prove us wrong. And for that point, so did the Commanders. CeeDee Lamb for the Cowboys, still on fire. Dak Prescott still slinging the rock like he can. I mean, just like the Packers and the Lions, it's a divisional matchup, but I don't see this one really being close. Maybe, man, I'm gonna take the Cowboys, and for spread wise, I'll take the points. I think they do cover the 10.5. Give me the Cowboys. Give me the points.
Cowboys either come out on fire and just beat teams down, or they lose to teams that they shouldn't. They looked pretty good last week against the Panthers. That's a team they should beat, and they beat them down. The Commanders last week, just like nobody saw that coming. Nobody saw them losing to Tommy DeVito, and Sam Howell, having a not so good game. 3 picks is not good. The Commanders, how does a team like that play that well against the Eagles, but can't beat the Giants at home, who look horrible against everybody else? That case, give me the Cowboys in this one, and I think that the Cowboys also will cover the spread. I think that they will probably beat down the Commanders this Thursday, and what I think is the weakest of the 3 Thanksgiving games. The next matchup, the nightcap on Thursday night, Thanksgiving, the San Francisco 49ers travel to Seattle to face the Seattle Seahawks. San Francisco is a 6.5-point favorite. Gage, what do you think about this one?
So one of the key pieces for the Seahawks, Kenneth Walker III, running back, he got hurt last week, and now they're saying that he could be out for an extended amount of time, but may not require a trip to the IR. Who knows what that means? He could be out for just this week. He could be out for the rest of the season, for all we know. And I think that's one of their key players on that team, because between him and Charbonnet, they would establish a great run game and be used out of the passing game a little bit. Now it's down to Zach Charbonnet, and I don't even know who his backup would be. The name that's coming to mind is DJ Dallas, but he may not even be with the team anymore. I have no idea. 49ers, on the other hand, did exactly what I thought they would last week. Got a win, got Christian McCaffrey a touchdown to start a streak again, and I think that continues this week. I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers. I'm going to take Christian McCaffrey on the anytime touchdown bet, and I'm also going to take the points in what I think is the weakest game of the Thursday night games.
Oh, okay. Yeah, DJ Dallas is the backup for Zach Charbonnet now that Kenneth Walker is out. He had a rush last week for 4 yards. Seattle just looked absolutely horrible last week against the Rams in what was a boring game, with the Rams beating them 17-16. The 49ers, on the other hand, of course, they took business against the Buccaneers. I mean, because duh. Christian McCaffrey, like you said, he got his streak going again after a big, long hiatus of not scoring for 1 week. Get back on the board this past week. I think he'll do it again. I think the Niners win. I think the Niners will roll. I think that they'll win this game. They'll cover the spread here. But yeah, that's interesting that you've got that as the weakest Thanksgiving game.
Yeah, the Seahawks, they just seem like they've been very wishy washy on offense and even had some troubles on defense. Not nearly as much as on offense. But, I mean, I could see this being a very lopsided game, maybe like 30-6, how the 49ers and Jaguars were a couple weeks ago.
But we're in agreement that the best game is probably the Packers Lions at the beginning of the
Oh, yeah,
slate.
absolutely.
The next matchup, we go to Black Friday, the first Black Friday game. Is it the first Black Friday game? I believe it is.
I think so, because I don't remember one in the past.
Yeah, I don't think there was. I think there was talk of one, but this will be the first one. 3 o'clock. The Miami Dolphins travel to East Rutherford, New Jersey to face the New York Jets. Miami's a 9.5-point favorite. News just came out that Tim Boyle is replacing Zach Wilson and Trevor Siemian is backing him up. Gage, what do you think about this matchup?
I think Zach Wilson's career may just be done, and he lasted a lot longer than I thought he would. I mean, I said last week that the Jets would beat the Bills. I kind of have some sourness left over from that game because the Jets just they didn't do it. They proved me wrong, definitely. And I was so high on the Jets last week, and they brought me back down to earth. Not making that mistake again. Gonna go Miami on this one. Gonna take the points. I think Tim Boyle and Trevor Siemian, they might, Boyle might get benched in that game. Trevor might come in, and they might have some packages for both quarterbacks. I don't think it's gonna matter. Like I said, Miami and the points.
I'm with you here. The Jets are just a dumpster fire right now on offense. Ever since Rodgers went out, it's been a battle for them. They weren't prepared for that, of course, and they just haven't been able to get anything going. Tim Boyle, it's not going to make any difference if he's quarterback or Simeon comes in and quarterbacks. On the other side, Miami did not look their best this past week against the Raiders. If the great value version of Derek Carr, Aiden O'Connell, did not throw 3 picks, who knows what would have happened in that game. But Miami is, got all that firepower on offense. They're going to come out ready to play. And their defense played pretty good the other day, too. Jalen Ramsey back there with a pick to seal the game for them there. I'm going to take Miami, and I'm going to take the points in this one. They're covering. The Jets are just the season's loss for the Jets, as it is for another certain team that, I may have an interest in. So we'll get to the Sunday matchups now. The first 1 o'clock game, the New Orleans Saints travel to Atlanta to face the Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons are a 1-point favorite in this one. Gage, what do you think about this one?
This one I'm not looking forward to at all. Maybe one of the more boring games on the Sunday slate. Man, Atlanta being the favorite here actually surprises me. Um, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Saints offense kind of come alive again, just because Atlanta is that bad. But also, there's one specific person for this game that I think could actually be the difference maker for the Saints, and that is returner slash wide receiver Rashid Shaheed. I know I've talked about him in previous weeks, but that kid just has the speed to burn anybody. I mean, he's not as fast as Tyreek Hill, but he's pretty up there. Pretty dangerous in the return game, pretty dangerous on the go balls. I think they look for him to get involved a lot, score a lot of points this week. I'm gonna go with the Saints on this one. I'll take the underdogs. Why not?
I'm going to go with you, man. The Falcons, they tried to go to Heineke the week before last, or for a couple weeks ago. He started for a couple of weeks. Then they had their bye week, and they announced that they're going back to Desmond Ritter for the rest of the season. Ritter's just, he is what he is. Not great. Bijan Robinson, he's still not getting the ball as much as what you would like to see, especially if you're a Falcons fan. that Saints offense, they can get things going. They can score a lot of points. I like them in this matchup. I think that they'll win. And yeah, of course they cover because they're going to win. I got the Saints. The next matchup, the one we've been waiting for all season long. The Pittsburgh Steelers travel to Cincinnati to face the Cincinnati Bengals. Pittsburgh is a 1-point favorite in this one.
No.
The over-under is 34.5. It's higher than what I would think.
Yeah.
Gage, what do you think about this matchup?
Just got done talking about Bijan Robinson and how he doesn't get the ball much. You want to talk about people who don't get the ball much? You look at the Steelers running back room and you have two people. You have the first round pick in Najee Harris, then you have an undrafted free agent from this past draft class in Jaylen Warren. Jaylen Warren last week had 9 touches, only 9 touches, but he managed 119 yards from those 9 touches. Granted, one of them was a 63-yard touchdown run. I believe that was like the longest for the Steelers since like 2005, 2006 Super Bowl with Willie Parker. But that kid, he's like 5'9", but he doesn't go down. It takes like 2 or 3 people to tackle him, yet they don't want to give him the ball. And I was talking about this with someone earlier. You go back to preseason, and the Steelers looked like a Super Bowl caliber team. You had Kenny Pickett, perfect accuracy on the throws, making the correct reads. Even if it was against, second and third string defenses, it doesn't matter when the throw was right on the money. And even, against the Buffalo Bills in preseason, the first, I believe, 2 drives was against the Bills starters, and the Steelers offense went down and just chopped them up. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if Kenny Pickett has made the offensive line mad, I should say, that they haven't won a block for him. Because if you watch the very first play last week against the Browns, Myles Garrett basically went untouched and speared Kenny Pickett for what should have been a safety. Somehow it wasn't. That's my rant about the Steelers this week. You look at the Bengals side of the ball. Like we said, Joe Burrow is gone. Jake Browning is in. Part of me wants to keep the superstition going this week and go against the Steelers. Part of me just doesn't want to pick Jake Browning and the Bengals. Steelers a 1-point favorite. I'm surprised this isn't just a deadlock. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go with Pittsburgh. And obviously I'll take the points.
So you mentioned Jaylen Warren there, explosive running back for Pittsburgh. He's got to be running back 1 now, you would think. 9 touches, 129 yards or whatever, and a touchdown last week. Like you said, tough to bring down, short little guy, but, explosive. So I would, try to get him the ball more if I was Matt Canada, but, it's fire Canada, right?
All the time.
Or blame Canada,
Anything negative towards Canada.
Yeah. Last week, the game that Pittsburgh played against Cleveland, it was not. If you're an offensive fan, you knew going in that there was not going to be a lot of that, and there wasn't. DTR, 165 yards. He threw the ball 43 times, but not a lot going on. And on the other side, what can I say about my Bengals? With Joe Burrow going out, we seen what the offense was like when he was in playing hurt. Wasn't very good. And then we seen what the offense was when Jake Browning got a little taste of it. He'll have a little bit more time to prepare, but this pains me to say it. I'm taking Pittsburgh to win the game and, of course, to cover. Woo! This was not going to be my pick at the beginning of the season this whole time, even up to last week. But, it pains me to do it, but I've got to go with Pittsburgh.
I think the main factor in this game is just going to be defense. I don't know exactly how good the Bengals defense is, but, with the pass rush that the Steelers have, they may be getting Minkah back this week. I don't know. I think the Steelers defense is just a little bit better than Cincinnati's.
I agree. The Bengals defense can show up to play when they want to. They kind of got deflated last week when Burrow went down. And then after that, just everybody just, pretty much gave up. I mean, I don't want to say they gave up, but it sucked the air out of the whole team. But Pittsburgh's defense is a little bit better than the Bengals, and that's why I'm gonna have to go with them.
Man, that is something I did not think you would do.
The let's just move on. The less we talk about it, the better. The next 1 o'clock matchup could be potential for game of the week right here, and there's several of them on this slate. The Carolina Panthers travel to Nashville, Tennessee, to face the Tennessee Titans, with the Titans a 3.5 point favorite. Gage, what do you think about this matchup?
I would love to say that a game would end in a tie because that's exactly what I imagine happening in this game. I don't think it's going to happen, but it's something that would not surprise me. Earlier today, a report came out that Panthers aren't exactly happy with their first overall, or not first overall, but first round quarterback Bryce Young, despite a 1-9 start. Gee, why wouldn't you be happy with that? Um, on the other hand, the Titans, Will Levis still trying to find his stride a little bit. Had a touchdown last week to his favorite target. I think the only guy he's thrown touchdowns to this year, DeAndre Hopkins. I think Derrick Henry, in that run game, they lean on him a little bit more. Maybe open up the screen game a little bit more with Tajay Spears like they did in the beginning of the season. Man, I'm going to go with the Titans on this one, but I don't think they cover. I think it's going to be that bad and that close of a game that it's probably going to be like 1 or 2 point difference. Give me the Titans, but not the spread.
Don't forget Will Levis's other touchdown he threw to defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons
Oh,
last week.
that is right. I forgot about that. You know what? I didn't even watch that play, and I saw it on ESPN, and it said like uh, Jeffrey Simmons passed for however many yards, and I was like, that has to be a typo. That has to be a typo.
Yeah, it's real. It happened. But his other one was the D Hop, and I don't think he's thrown to anybody else. So I mean, that's a good, kind of distinction that Jeffrey Simmons is one of two people to catch a touchdown pass from Will Levis. Oh man, like you said, Panthers they're not too happy with Bryce Young. Well, who picked Bryce Young? I mean, C.J. Stroud was out there, and he's looked pretty decent in his rookie year. So I mean, who do you have to blame there but themselves?
Yeah.
Panthers horrible. Titans not much better, but the Titans have Derrick Henry. They got D Hop. They just got better playmakers. I'm going to go with the Titans on this one, but I'm like you. I don't think they're going to cover either. I think that it's going to be like a 3 point game, and it's not even going to be, not a lot of scoring going on here. But I've got the Titans to win.
It's crazy with how bad the Panthers are this year. Yet their number one receiver, Adam Thielen, he's having one of his best years ever. He might very well end up over 1,000 yards. He's already at 726. He's averaging 9.6 a catch. He has 4 touchdowns. If he goes over 1,000, this will only be his third year going over 1,000 yards. And yet this team is absolutely horrible.
It just goes to show that Bryce Young is like that's his safety valve. That's all he's throwing to is Adam Thielen. He's like he's out there somewhere. I'm throwing to him. So the next 1 o'clock matchup, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers travel to Indianapolis to face the Indianapolis Colts. Indy's a 2.5 point favorite. Gage, who you like in this matchup?
We got Gardner Minshew going against your second favorite team in Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh man, what a matchup! I mean, wow, this one's hard to pick. You got Jonathan Taylor for the Colts. Then you also have Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, Minshew Mania throwing him the ball. Not much going on the defensive side though. And then you look at the Bucks, and it's like, okay, Baker Mayfield, he can throw the ball pretty decent most times. Yeah, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and then Rashad White, who they have been using in the passing game so much this year. It is actually surprising me that he's probably going to have a career year and probably a running back career year that most running backs never see in the receiving game. I think he already has like 4 or 5 receiving touchdowns. Ah, Just, you know what? I'm going to stick with the trend of hating the Buccaneers. Give me the Colts. Give me the points. Why not?
Yeah, when you started out and you said this was going to be a tough one to pick, I disagree. This is easy to pick. Colts coming off of a bye week. Minshew Mania is going wild. Tampa Bay sucks. Give me the Colts in this one. They're covering. Let's move on to the next potential game of the week.
Ooh.
The New England Patriots
Oh.
travel to East Rutherford, New Jersey to face the streaking New York Giants, who have won one in a row. New England's a 3-point favorite. Gage, who you like in this matchup?
So for the Patriots, do we has there been a decision? Is it going to be Mac Jones or Bailey Zappi this week? Are they going back to Mac? Are they making a change? Has anything been said? Do you know?
I have not heard anything yet, but
Uh,
I mean they're the same quarterback pretty much.
they basically are, and they both suck. This game is going to be awful. Like I,
Mhm.
I'm going to. Oh man, Giants, like we talked about earlier, they came out and surprised everyone last week with their win over the Commanders. The Patriots have just been awful this year. I, I know we joked about the Raiders earlier this season with their their 1 and 2 game win streaks. I think the Giants get a 2 game win streak going on. I'm going to take the Giants in this one. I think they get Barkley involved a lot like they did last week. That's their key to winning. Give me the Giants and definitely the underdogs on this one.
Tommy DeVito did not look that bad last week. 3 touchdown passes for him, and he's going to have another extra week to go. The Patriots are coming off of a bye week. Bill Belichick, no, it's not happening. I'm going to take the Giants in this one. It's going to be ugly. The Patriots are a 3-point favorite, and the over-under is 33.5. The Giants are capable of scoring a little bit like they did last week. Give me the Giants in this one, but it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good at all.
I'm surprised our game doesn't have the lowest over under.
Yeah, no kidding. But that one right there, I believe, is the lowest over under for the week right there. I mean, 33.5. That's not a lot of points at all. But
No, probably like 10-7 will be the final or something.
yeah, it probably will. Oh man, the last 1 o'clock game for Sunday, the Jacksonville Jaguars travel to Houston to face the Houston Texans. Jacksonville is a 1-point favorite. Gage, what do you think about this one?
If you would have told me a couple weeks ago that this game Jacksonville would have been the favorite, I would have said you're crazy. The way CJ Stroud had been balling and the way that the Jaguars had kind of slowed down quite a bit on offense. Although you go back to this past Sunday's game, Calvin Ridley, for whatever reason, decides to have a good day when he's sitting on my fantasy football bench and go for 2 touchdowns. I think he had over 100 yards, even had a rushing attempt for like 18 yards. And on the other side of the ball, CJ Stroud. I mean, I know, pretty sure Texans did get the win last week, but Stroud, 3 interceptions after only having, one the rest of the season. I don't think that's going to matter, though. Jaguars are going back to their normal average offense. Trevor Lawrence, maybe 1 touchdown. Don't see him throwing any more than that. I'm going to take the Texans on this one. And like I said, I'm surprised Jacksonville's the favorite.
I thought this one would be one that we would disagree on, but I'm in agreement with you here. I'm going to go with the Texans as well. CJ Stroud, like you said, had 3 picks last week. Had only 1 or 2 before that. I think he'll get it back going again. Jacksonville had a pretty good week offensively last week. Like you said, Calvin Ridley, 2 touchdowns, 103 yards receiving. But it was against the Titans. But then again, the Texans, they played the Cardinals, but the Cardinals do have Murray and Connor back and, just about everybody that they need back there. Texans pulled out the win at home. I'm going with the Texans on this one too in the what is considered an upset since Jacksonville's a 1-point favorite. Give me the Texans in that one. The next matchup, 4:05, the Cleveland Browns travel to Denver to face the Denver Broncos. Denver's a 2.5-point favorite. Gage, what do you think about this one?
So, Cleveland, I mean, we just got done talking about them quite a bit ago with the Steelers. Only scoring 13 last week and still pulling out the win. They have a very good defense, but Dorian Thompson Robinson proved that you could throw the ball 40 plus times, have less than 200 passing yards, and not look that good. And their saving grace was, I believe, their run game with Jerome Ford. He picked up a touchdown, and then the rest was just field goals. Um, I don't. Oh, wow. Denver, picking up a surprise win. I think it was a surprise win at least last night against the Vikings. Their defense has come alive, but just a little bit ago it was announced that their safety, I believe Simmons, I think is his name, um,
Mm-hmm.
getting suspended again, 4 games this time for safety high hit violation. That wasn't called a flag. That should have been during the game, but wasn't. I don't think he's going to make or break this team, though. I'm going to take Denver. And what I hope is a Cleveland Browns loss. I'm going to take Denver, and I'm going to take the points.
I don't know if this is our Browns hatred coming out here or not on this, but I'm also going to go with Denver as well. Cleveland looked horrible on offense last week. The defense is really good. Cleveland's got a really good defense. Ford's a pretty good running back. Last night, Denver, like you said, Simmons, the second or third play of the game, did exactly what he did earlier in the year. And helmet to helmet, no call on this one. It was clear that he did it. Dobbs, you could tell he just took a shot there, and they didn't call it. But they made up for it today when they suspended him for 4 games. But like you said, that really doesn't matter. Denver's riding is it a 4 game winning streak, I believe now?
I think it's a 5 game winning streak.
5 game winning streak. They're pretty hot, but I don't think they're very good offensively. Cleveland's also is not very good offensively, but I think Denver's defense has stepped up a lot since giving up 70 points, which how could you not get better after that? Give me Denver in this one as well. Like I said, it may be our Cleveland hate that we have going here, and I think that Denver will cover the 2.5 point spread and win by field goal. This one here could be just a boring game here. The Rams travel to Arizona to face the Arizona Cardinals. This is the line is even. Who you got, Gage?
An even line actually doesn't surprise me this week, although a little bit ago it was said that the Rams will probably be getting back their running back one, Kyron Williams, this week. And I think that's going to make a world of difference in this team that hasn't been able to run the ball since he's been hurt. So, they've got him back. The Cardinals, I mean, they've been getting James Conner involved in the running game, but I don't know. I think this defense is going to give them some problems, going to give Kyler some problems. I'm going to take the Rams on this one. I think they're able to, battle the Cardinals and take them down. Give me the Rams on this one, and obviously even spread. Don't have to take the points.
Like you said, Williams is coming back for the Rams. The Rams have looked just not very good on offense lately. Defenses look decent. The Cardinals, on the other hand, they played the Texans pretty good last week, coming up with the 3 picks. They couldn't come up with the win. I think this week that the Cardinals will get back on track, get their 3rd win of the season. Kyler Murray will have a little bit of Murray magic back there. They'll get James Conner going, and the Cardinals will defeat the Rams this week.
Wow.
The next 425 matchup, the Kansas City Chiefs travel to Vegas to face the Las Vegas Raiders. The Chiefs are a 9 point favorite in this one. Gage, what do you think about this matchup?
Doesn't it always seem like the Raiders give the Chiefs a problem for whatever reason? Because it always just feels like that, at least. I mean, I think tonight's game, after the Monday night game between Kansas City and Philly, is really going to determine how this game shapes up, because of injuries or just how players look and different stuff. Aiden O'Connell's been throwing the ball pretty well, like we mentioned earlier against Miami last week. basically the great value version of Derek Carr, like you called him, which I think is actually perfect for that. Um, but I still think, that Mahomes Kelsey connection is going to be on point. I think Taylor Swift might show up to this game and help the Chiefs out quite a bit. I'm going to take the Chiefs here, but I'm not going to take the points. So give me Kansas City, but not the spread.
That's exactly the way I was going to go, man. I think Kansas City's going to win it. I don't think they're covering the spread. The Vegas Raiders, ever since Antonio Pierce was named interim head coach, have played a lot harder than they have in previous weeks. They had 2 wins in a row. Like I said, they played the Dolphins pretty close last week. If O'Connell didn't have his 3 picks, who knows? But it's still the Chiefs, and they're still really good. I'm going to take the Chiefs in this one, but it's going to be closer than the spread. The last 425 matchup of the week, the Buffalo Bills travel to Philadelphia to face the Philadelphia Eagles. Philly's a 3.5-point favorite. Gage, what do you think about this one?
I know that the Bills fans are just going crazy after their win last week. But once again, it was against Zach Wilson. It was against the Jets. They hurt my feelings when they actually came out and beat the Jets. They broke my pick'ems last week. So, I will be going against the Bills this week. I think the Eagles are just a better team overall. I think they're better on offense, better on defense, better on special teams, and have a better coaching staff. Uh, Bills Mafia, I mean, you have no reason to be upset if you lose this week. Give me Philadelphia on this one and give me the points.
The Bills come out, like you said, they must be really happy that they beat down a team, in the Jets, but it was the Jets. Philly's on a different level. I think Philly will come out and they'll win. This game's at home. I think Philly will cover the spread. The Bills still are not the same team that they were last year. This is a totally different, matchup coming up against the Eagles than it is the Jets. So I will take the Eagles in this one, and I'll take the Eagles to cover. And the over/under is 48.5. I like the over in that one.
I agree. I like the over on that one as well.
The Sunday night matchup, the Baltimore Ravens travel to, here's one of the teams that I think are always playing a primetime game just about, or every other week. The LA Chargers. Baltimore is a 4-point favorite. Gage, what do you think about this one?
This pick is just going to pain me this week, but the Chargers have been hit with so many injuries, and just today it was announced that pass rusher Joey Bosa going potentially on the IR. Actually, I think they did say he is going on the IR. So that's another key piece to that pass rushing defense to help keep Lamar in the pocket. I know they're without Mark Andrews, but I don't think that's going to matter. Isaiah Likely showed last year how good of a tight end he can be, whether it be in blocking or in the receiving game. And Baltimore defense is just incredible. I don't know what the AFC North does to their defensive coaching, but it seems like all defenses in the AFC North are very, very good this year. Give me Baltimore, unfortunately. That hurts to say. But give me Baltimore and give me the points.
Man, I'm going to have to agree with you here. Our hatred for Baltimore here, we can't pick against them because they're just the better team than the Chargers. You said Bosa's out for the year. Last week, Justin Herbert was the leading rusher for the Chargers. I think he's a good quarterback, but anytime he's going to be your leading rusher, there's probably going to be an issue. Keenan Allen, he still had 116 yards, but they only scored 20 points. Baltimore, it's Baltimore. They're looking like a, team that could potentially make it to the Super Bowl right now. Give me Baltimore in this one, and Baltimore will cover. The last matchup of the week, the Monday night matchup, the Chicago Bears travel to Minneapolis to face the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota is a 3.5-point favorite. Coming off of their loss last night in Denver. Gage, do you think Minnesota can bounce back?
This is going to depend on which Chicago team shows up. If the Chicago that showed up this past week offensively comes out and plays, I don't think they'll have a problem taking down the Vikings. If Chicago teams of other weeks shows up, then they will have a problem. This one, I could see being candidate for game of the week. Would not surprise me if this was a super good game. You got, first round pick Justin Fields going against a guy who you could call him a journeyman in Josh Dobbs, the Pastronaut as he's been being called. Dobbs has looked very good this season so far for his games for Minnesota. Justin Fields, though, I mean, he's shown signs of life. He's shown signs of being able to do it. And no, I can't pick the Bears. Give me Minnesota on this one, and give me the points, definitely.
Man, I thought you was going to go with the Bears there, which brings me to my pick. I'm going to roll with the Bears in this one, man. I think that the Bears are going to. I think that he'll run the ball, scramble around. Josh Dobbs has had little issues, with turning the ball over in his time at Minnesota. Last night, a couple fumbled snaps there. Well, that one time where he got hit in the head. Hey, I was just saying, what game were you looking forward to this week?
Okay. There's a couple good games this week. You got, the Packers Lions on Thanksgiving. You have a really good game with the Steelers and Bengals this week. But I'm actually looking forward to the Monday night game, Chicago and Minnesota. Like I said, I think it has potential to be, game of the week, and that's the game that I'm looking most forward to.
I'm going to go with the Packers and the Lions just because it's the Thanksgiving game and it's the best Thanksgiving game and I'll just go with that one. Yeah, because the other ones on Sunday, there's not a whole lot of real good games up there coming up this week. Maybe the Jaguars, Texans, maybe, but I'll take the Packers and the Lions. So we're just going NFC North for our matchups we're looking forward to this week, it looks like.
You can't go wrong with that.
All right, man. Well, you have a good Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next week, man.
You do the same, and I'll talk to you later.
All right. Later, man.
Later.